Talking the issues and filling in for Martha, it's Dr. Tom Smiley on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
Well, indeed they are. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Welcome to the Martha Zoller Show. I'm Tom Smiley. I am filling in for Martha today. I'll be back for the next couple of Fridays, and I look forward to you hanging in there with me. We've got phone calls already lined up. We've got text messages available. If you'll send me a text, I'll read it if it's worthy. 770-535-2911. Got lots of good stories, some great audio, and once again, I'm just over-prepared. So what I don't use today, I'll use next Friday. But we got to start off with our pledge because this is the one moment of sanity. And I would like to say, could we all stand up for this? But I have to say this, there will be many that won't because they're just crazy. Take it away, kids.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you so much, kids. That does help me get in a little favorable mood. I'm telling you what, there's so much on my mind today. I know you've been hearing about the State of the Union, and I've got some thoughts about it. I've got some audio I want to play from my favorite parts and give you some analysis of what I think is going on. So we'll do that. Also, I have a couple of very interesting stories for you. One local story is about our Georgia Promise Scholarship Program. It is really doing well. It has overcome the gloom and doomers of the day. You know, those are the people who said that if you give parents more choice, the public school systems will fail and falter. Well, that's not so. That has not happened, and it will not happen. And they ought to quit saying that because they know it's not true. But I'll get to that story. And I got a very interesting story about our favorite, well, according to Bill Maher, communist mayor, Zoran Madami. Yes, it's just a snowball fight. It wasn't any kind of thing really dangerous. It was a bunch of kids throwing snowballs at police officers. They were all just having a good time. Yeah, those kids were 18 to 30 years old, and those snowballs were packed with bottles, glass, rocks, and ice bottles. But it was just a friendly little, us against them snowball fight. What a lunatic. I'm telling you, these people are crazy. Well, So, Joe and Ella J, one of our favorite callers, Brother Joe and Ella J, you always are so faithful to call. Welcome to the Martha Zoller Show. Glad you're here.
Tom, you always do a great job. Tom, I just want to say I've been listening, as I know you have, to many State of the Union speeches. In my opinion, Trump gave the best speech in history. And I think, I talk about the stock market all the time. As a stock market investor for 50 years, I've never been so fired up and energized about the market, about Trump, about the country. I think we're in investor heaven, but I thought that was the best, most inspiring speech I've ever heard in my life. And I predict, as I have before, that the Republicans will win the midterms with huge landslides and that the Republicans will also recapture the White House in 28. So I'm extremely fired up and energized. And Tom, you do an excellent job. You ought to have your own program.
Thank you, Joe.
Maybe alongside Martha. You're too good not to be on a regular basis on WDUN. And have a great weekend and keep up the great work, my friend.
Thank you, Joe. And I tell you what, I hope, and nay, I say pray that you're right about the midterms. Matter of fact, I've got a segment on that I may play before we get done today. It's just about, I don't know, I call it anecdotal evidence about a blue wave, about the red wave coming. Anecdotal. I don't know if there's anything factual. But, I have to admit, I'm kind of in a R bubble, a Republican bubble in this area. And I know there's some great lunatics out there. We hear them, we see them. There's some lunatics in our own community that just don't get it. And I'm still hopeful that people will have better sense than to put continue to put these kind of radical lunatics in office. I mean, I was so ashamed of our senators. I didn't see Osloff on the film, and I watched on the TV. I watched every second. My wife and I watched every second of the State of the Union. I didn't see Osloff. I did see Warnock, and I was so embarrassed, so ashamed. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But boy, Georgia sure does need a change in 2 senators, in my opinion. When you can't even stand up for, the things that were good from that speech. When all you can say is it's racist, it's ugly, it was lies. I have a story here. I'll talk to you about that in just a minute, where one of the Congress people said, it's just a big lie. All his facts were big lies. But you know what? What this Congressperson failed to mention? One fact that was a lie. I'm telling you have to look beyond the words of these people. These people are indeed crazy. And Madami, in my opinion, tops the list. I mean, let me just tell you this. In New York, there was an incident where basically a riot broke out, a fight broke out, where adults were throwing snowballs filled with rocks and bottles and ice cubes and so forth at passerbyers, damaging cars, scaring women and children and men in cars going back and forth to work. And so what did they do? They called the police. They called the law. And what happened? The New York law showed up, and what did the protesters do? What did the people? They started pelting the police officers with the same stuff, snowballs filled with rocks and ice cubes and bottles and whatever. Injuring a couple of the officers who were responding to a call for help from the citizens. And Comrade Madami comes out and says, it's just a snowball fight. It got out of hand. There was just no problem. You're making too much. You voted for it. You got it. And as much as I really hate to say it, but I think it. So, I do think it. I don't want to say you get what you deserve, but I do think it. You're going to get what you deserve. When many of you stayed home in New York, when many Jews stayed home in New York, when many citizens were quiet and fearful, I tell you, it just irritates me because, you see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get to the story in just a minute, but it irritates me that we have Christians all over the world who are having to stand up against a raised fist. China, North Korea, Iran. These people are standing up against a raised fist. And then you got these scaredy cats all around us, people who won't take a stand on the very common sense issues of our day. They not only couldn't stand against the raised fist, they can't stand against the raised eyebrow. Are you with me? Raise your hand if you understand. I see that hand. Yeah, I know you know I'm right. There are people who can't stand up against a raised eyebrow, so they don't say what's on their mind. They don't talk about the foolishness of frogs, Congress people dressed up as frogs dancing on a platform, or a man with pink underwear on in a giraffe suit. They won't talk about men in women's bathrooms. They won't talk about how open borders just almost annihilated many, many, many families. They don't talk about that because they're afraid of a raised eyebrow. Well, raise your eyebrow if you want to on Tom Smiley, but I'm telling you, I'm not afraid of your raised eyebrow. Could care less. Underline that. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to speak the truth, and I'm going to tell you exactly what's on my mind, and you can like it or not. You can raise your eyebrow if you want to. I don't care. And this snowball fight from Madami, what a weakling he is, in my opinion. It was a brawl, and officers were injured. So I'm just telling you right now, this is absolutely ridiculous. And you people need to start standing up. I had a person call me the other day on the radio, and I'm not being negative toward the person. I don't know him, but he talked about the value and the importance of voting, and then he turned right around and said, but he didn't vote. You better get out there and vote. You better call your friends and family from all over the country and tell them they better vote. If the Democrats take over this House in November, this country will come to a screaming halt, and you'll get more of what you saw on display at the State of the Union address. All right, let's listen to this audio for just one moment about the snowball fight, and you tell me if this makes any sense to you.
We are learning more about the snowball attack on officers in New York City. The NYPD has released photos of these 4 men who are wanted for the assault. One of the photos appears to show a suspect raising an ice-filled block toward an officer. Socialist Mayor Zoran Mamdani continues to downplay the attack.
I'm not going to be banning snowball fights or organized snowball fights. What I saw yesterday in these videos was a snowball fight that got out of hand. I believe that our officers, just like any city workers, deserve respect. And, you know, once again, I think these are the views that I've shared both kind of in public as well as in any conversations I've had.
The police
are officers like anyone else who works for the city deserves respect. Well, everybody deserves respect, comrade, Madami. But lawmen and lawwomen, law officers, deserve high respect. That they weren't sanitation officers or parking meter maids responding to the call of help from your citizens whose cars were being pelleted by these lunatics. You get what you vote for. And that's what's coming. We'll be right back. We'll take a quick break. I am Tom Smiley, filling in for Martha Zoller. We'll be right back.
The Gainesville Red Elephants step into the Sweet 16.
KJ from the left, off the glass, counted. KJ and Gainesville.
Catch the action as Gainesville hosts Evans Saturday at 2 on our sister station 94.5 FM, The Lake.
Gainesville, storms ahead.
It's rolling, rolling. That jackpot's rolling. If your scratcher didn't win, you can play it once again and win that growing jackpot in the sky. That jackpot's rolling.
Got yourself a scratcher that didn't win? Well, my friend, it still could, because now all non-winning scratchers can be entered to win the rolling jackpot, which grows and grows.
That jackpot's rolling.
The rolling jackpot, another way to win from the Georgia Lottery. Learn more and enter at galottery.com. Please play responsibly. Always check and sign your ticket.
Hey, Georgia, want to hit the jackpot? You can when you play the new Jackpots Galore family of scratchers. With top prizes from $50,000 to $2 million. You can win a ton of cash instantly. Play the Jackpots Galore scratchers from the Georgia Lottery.
Tune in to WSB Channel 2 for your official Georgia Lottery drawing. And check out the Players Club at galottery.com.
You wouldn't want someone you couldn't trust working on your family's HVAC and plumbing, so why would you call anyone but Gainesville Mechanical? They're your local, most trusted and award-winning HVAC and plumbing company in North Georgia. From maintenance appointments and clogged drains to plumbing emergencies and new system installations, their team is ready to serve you. And with their customer assurance maintenance plan, you can receive discounts, priority scheduling, and 24/7 no overtime rates. Gainesville Mechanical and Bryant, doing whatever it takes since 1989.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found Good RX. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's Good RX, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN, Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, detention and data centers might be on the chopping block in Hall County due to a 6-month moratorium imposed by the commission. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical, from the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Well, I apologize for not dressing for television today. I forgot, really, tell you the truth, about being on the radio. So let me get this turned off here. There you go. I got it on. So I do have my Duke hat on if you want to chime in there on YouTube and check out Access WDUN and scroll down to the little camera thing. You can click on and see me live in person, and you'll see my Duke hat on. Don't look too close. I didn't shave this morning. I usually don't shave except now on Saturday nights for church, because since I've retired, every day is Saturday for me except Sunday. Every day is Saturday except Sunday. So, for the occasional wedding and funeral, I will also shave. But, heck, for about 46 years, I shave sometimes twice a day. And you know what? I just sometimes don't like to do it. And so I don't. So don't look too closely. If it offends you, don't look at all. All right. Hey, I've got lots to talk to you about. I'm going to give you my impressions on the State of the Union address. I've got some great audio for you. And this is audio that I found interesting and that I believe is significant, and maybe you will too. And if not, you can share with me, 770-535-2911, what you thought was interesting or what you thought was of value, okay? So we'll talk about that if you like. 770-535-2911. You can call or text, and I look forward to hearing from you. So let's go to the phones and do just that with Jim in Gillsville. Hello, Jim.
Good morning, Tom. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Talking about shaving, I shave Wednesdays before Bible study,
Yep.
and I shave Saturday night before church on Sunday morning.
There you go. That's enough. That's enough for me.
I'll tell you what, I was so proud of President Trump Tuesday evening after his speech. I mean, my heart was bubbling over with joy.
Well, I think there are many people who agree with that. And by the way, Jim, I'm looking at a CBS poll. Now, this is a CBS poll, and it says 75% of viewers supported the president's speech. Only 25% found it negative. 75%, Jim, that's a pretty good number.
I believe that. I'm on the computer quite often talking with other people on Facebook and such. And, yes, President Trump's the number one president. We just got to get out and make sure we vote Republicans back into office in the midterms and, of course, 2028.
Well, thank you, Jim. I appreciate you and I appreciate you listening. And thank you so very much for calling. 770-535-2911. You can do exactly what Jim just did. Or send me a text, and I'll read it if it's worthy. Now, the easiest way to get your text read as being worthy is if you'll say something complimentary regarding the fill-in host, that would be me, or the extraordinary producer, Brother Logan. So if you say something positive, that pretty well gets it read, Logan.
Some brownie points go a long way here, Tom.
Long way. That and or an oatmeal cream pie you might want to drop by. That's right. We're out of oatmeal cream pies again. So if you just happen to be driving by, throw one our way. We'll catch it. All right. Let me go to this soundbite because Omar, what? Just sitting there yelling. Do you remember how much criticism the Republican congressperson got several years ago when he just simply shook his head at Obama and said that's not true or that's a lie or whatever? I mean, he did it one time, and you would have thought he threw a rock at him. I mean, he was just beaten up for weeks. And here you have these two lunatics that ought to know what happens when a country is taken over by Marxism and socialism, and yet they're right in the middle of trying to make ours one. But here's Omar. Now, you see, she's trying to answer the fraud question of the Somalis in Minnesota. But she has to walk a thin line because, number one, she is one, and number two, she can't offend them. She can't offend the voting bloc. So she's walking a thin line, and the result is a worse word salad than Kamala Harris ever had. This is what she said, Omar said, when was asked about the fraud.
Ilhan Omar giving Kamala Harris a run for her money on the word salad.
Can you shed any light on why
the fraud got so out of control in Minnesota?
I think what happened is that, when you have these kind of new programs that are designed to help people, you're oftentimes relying on third parties to be able to facilitate. And I just think that a lot of the COVID programs that were set up, they were set up so quickly that a lot of the guardrails did not get created.
How about, Omar, the guardrail of honesty? Would that be one you're talking about? Would that be one like don't apply for aid? Don't apply for a preschool. Don't apply for transportation programs. Don't apply for those kind of grants if you're not honest, if you're a crook, if you're a criminal, if you have criminal intent. How about that, Omar? Would that be a basic guardrail? What a doozy you are, in my opinion. And what about the fraud? Can we just admit that the fraud is wrong? I mean, I've not heard her or even Tim Walz or the governor, or the Mayor Fry. I've not heard any of them say, well, you know what? It was wrong. It wasn't right. They're cheaters. They're liars. They're thieves. They're criminals. Maybe they have. If they have, you call me up and tell me they have, and I'll try to find the evidence for it or send me the evidence. That'd be better. I'm just telling you what I've not seen. The guardrail would be honesty and integrity and doing the right thing, Omar. Oh, my gosh. All right, I'll be back. I've got lots more to share with you. I'm Tom Smiley, filling in for Martha. You stay tuned.
This might be the best match you'll make all year. It's the tax match event at Krause Family Hyundai of Gainesville. We'll match your tax refund or down payment up to $3,000 when you buy a new Hyundai. So if you have $3,000, you end up with $6,000 toward a new Hyundai like the 2026 Palisade. Plus, you get America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and Hyundai Assurance. Find your match before it ends. Get to Krause Family Hyundai on Atlanta Highway off I-985 in Gainesville or visit KrauseFamilyHyundai.com for full details.
I'll be honest, I never expected to be a caregiver, but here I am, taking care of my wife. Some days I feel like I'm barely keeping up. Then a friend told me about a free resource from Kimbrough Law. It's a free checklist called Survival Strategies for Older Men Who Become Caregivers. It's designed for guys like me, men who suddenly find themselves caring for a spouse, a parent, or another family member. The Survival Strategies Checklist outlines the most important things to do to take control of the situation, protect your own health, and make a plan for what comes next. Caregiving is not easy. Whether you're caring for a spouse with dementia or supporting an aging loved one through illness or disability, you are not alone, and you don't have to do it all by yourself. Don't wait until you're overwhelmed. Get your free copy of the Survival Strategies Checklist from Kimbrough Law. Just go to kimbroughLaw.net and click on Resources. Visit kimbroughLaw.net and click on Resources. That's kimbroughLaw.net.
Reddick with Briscoe behind him. The Chastain. Tyler Reddick trying to go back-to-back. Reddick will go back-to-back and win the Auto Trader 400 at Echo Park Speedway after winning the Daytona 500.
Will Reddick three-peat? We'll find out with the Duramax Grand Prix from Circuit of the Americas Sunday at 2:30 on North Georgia's home of NASCAR. WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 9:30.
Fox News. I'm Chris Foster. Former President Bill Clinton's question today for the House Oversight Committee's Jeffrey Epstein investigation. Hillary Clinton went first yesterday.
I don't know how many times I had to say I did not know Jeffrey Epstein.
Committee Chairman James Comer says that's because they kept showing her new items of evidence.
Emails from Epstein where he implied that he was very close with the Clinton family, including Hillary.
The depositions are being conducted in Chappaqua, New York, where the Clintons live. A ceasefire between Afghanistan and Pakistan is over.
Our patience has now run out, warns Pakistan's Defense Minister Khawaja Mohammad Asif. The two sides have launched cross-border strikes, and Pakistan now considers the conflict open war. The ongoing dispute concerns alleged Afghan support for armed groups in Pakistan.
Fox's Jonathan Savage, several soldiers have been killed, the sides giving different casualty figures. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
WDUN.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow. Hall County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate a pedestrian fatality involving a train Thursday in Lula. Deputies at Hall County Fire Rescue were dispatched at approximately 3 p.m. to the intersection of McLeod and Main Streets, where a man was struck by a train. The unidentified man died at the scene. Norfolk Southern Railway temporarily halted train traffic in the area while that case was under investigation. Local Board of Ethics unanimously dismissed a complaint against 5 commissioners this week. WDUN's William Daughtry reports.
The complaint was filed by Barrow County citizen Alicia B. Logg regarding a meeting from July of last year she also took to the courts. The reasoning for the Barrow County Board of Ethics was simple. The meeting occurred more than 6 months ago. The issue at hand was a vague cost reimbursement item regarding school resource officer funding, not having proper public notice at a July 8, 2025 meeting. The Ethics Board approved the motion to dismiss unanimously on Thursday.
And a 9-month-old that was reported missing from a home in Barrow County was located safe in DeKalb County Thursday. Sheriff's Office in Barrow County says the child was reported missing from Carler Court. An initial investigation determined the child's father, Cesar Martinez, had taken the baby to DeKalb County. Martinez has been charged with simple battery and interference with custody. Details at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Clouds to start, but we're going to see some sunshine before the day is through. We're in the mid-60s for highs. Partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight, upper 40s for lows. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Commerce, 56 degrees. Incoming, 55. And in Gainesville, 54. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
We're talking with Mike Robertson of Oakwood Tire and More. And Mike, I understand you guys have moved. Where can we find you?
3440 Mabry Road, which is right off of Mountain View.
Still offering the same services?
We won't be doing alignments, but we'll be doing tires. Tires, brakes, batteries, tune-ups, those kind of things that normal maintenance repair.
Sounds good. Give us the address one more time. Make sure we don't miss out.
You can find us at 3440 Mabry Road at oakwoodtire.com or even the same phone number, 770-535-0943.
They say it's hard to find things that are built to last. That may be true for some things, but not for metal roofing from Dawsonville Metal. Metal roofing can last up to 50 years. Now that's quite an improvement from traditional asphalt shingles. But more than durable, metal roofing from Dawsonville Metal is also fire and impact resistant. Plus you get all the quality and durability for about the same cost as a shingled roof. Talk to Justin Odom at Dawsonville Metal Products at 706-265-3099 or log on to dawsonvillemetal.com.
Use the Access WDUN talk and text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Well, welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley, filling in for Martha, and we are so very happy that you're listening today, all across the fruited plain. I don't know if we have a fruited plain or not, but anyway, if we did, it'd be good that you're listening. 770-535-2911 is the number. I want to talk about the State of the Union address because I want to, okay? And these are some things that I thought were important leading up to and then in the middle of and the end of the State of the Union. These are just some audio clips that I found pretty interesting, and I wanted to share with you today. You probably have heard some of them. You might not have heard all of them. Probably not. Because I don't think like everybody else. And so sometimes I give you stuff that other people don't give you. But here is John Kennedy. Now, John Kennedy, Senator Kennedy from Louisiana, a great guy. Very common sense, very matter of fact. I'd love to hear him on his congressional hearings. He's well prepared. And this is what he had to say prior to the actual event. This was a day before or the day of, and he's talking about, you know what, just shut up and listen to the president.
There are two things, process and substance. First, process, and I say this to both my Democratic friends and Republican friends. You're there to listen to the president. You're not there to offer your opinion. Mm-hmm. Don't have a bunch of grand mal seizures. Just shut up and listen to the president. That's both sides. Number two, here's what the president hadn't asked me my opinion, Martha, but if he did, here's what I'd tell him. I'd say, Mr. President, look the American people in the eye and talk to them straight up about what moms and dads worry about when they lie down to sleep at night and can't. And they're worried about a lot of things, but one in particular is the cost of living. Another is Iran. I could go on, but don't get off on tangents. Keep it on America and the cost of living, because we've got too many undeserving people at the top getting bailouts and too many undeserving people at the bottom getting handouts, and people in the middle are tired of getting the bill.
Well, I mean, that's exactly right. And for the most part, I mean, he was pretty prophetic, because in the first regard, many of the Democrats did not listen to his advice, and they did make it into a shouting match. A continued. I mean, look, I'm not opposed to somebody, once or twice saying something kind of under their breath or muddling something. But my gosh, what those two women Congress people did, Omar and then Tlaib, is that her name? I don't even know. Don't care to know. But what they did was just uncalled for, because they continually interrupted. And that's what the ideology of the left Marxist socialist does. That's what they do. They shout you down. And it doesn't have to be filtered with facts. It's just a shouting match. I had this happen to me at the coffee shop just the other day. I was drinking some coffee over at Long Street with some friends, and somebody said something that was not accurate, and I knew it wasn't accurate, and so I said, that's not accurate. I mean, actually, that's not true. And what was their response? Just shout me down. Like, well, yeah, you're a dummy or something. You know what I'm saying? And that's the mindset of these people. So I think Senator Kennedy said it right. That's what it is. It's a time for you to listen. And then I thought the president did do some of what he said or suggested. All right, well, in just a moment, I've got John Fetterman, because John Fetterman had a very good comment or two, so we'll listen to him. But first, we'll go to the phone call and pick up Debbie in Gainesville. Hello, Debbie. Welcome to the Martha Zoller Show.
Hey, Tom.
Hey, friend.
I have a fun nickname for you to use when you're talking about the illustrious mayor of New York.
Okay.
And I can't believe nobody's picked up on this, but I call him Zoron the Moron. So you're free to use that if you prefer.
You know, someone was talking to AOC about being a moron, and she said, well, I want to make this very clear. I have never lived in Utah, and I have never practiced that religion.
Well, she and Zoron the Moron should date or something.
I will. I'm going to put a D beside that slogan, and every time I say it, I'm going to remember you, Debbie.
Okay, my friend. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for calling. That's pretty good right there. I have to admit. That's pretty good. All right. Well, I'm on a roll here. Let me read this up. Let me read this text to you, because this is a good text. This text says, let me get to it. Oh, well, here's a couple of texts. This is from a 4015 number. Speaking of the midterms, we will win the elections when we dump the electronic voting machines. Okay, fine. You know what? I have some agreement to that, but that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Surely it's not going to happen between now and November. So you better get out there and figure out another way to win the election. Because if that's our only strategy, if the only strategy of sensible-minded, conservative, value-oriented people, if the only strategy to win in November is to dump the voting machines, well, then we're not going to win, because that's not going to happen. Might be a long-term strategy, but it's not going to happen between now and November. So we got to come up with something else than that for November. And this is another one from a 4548 number that just texts them, hey, Tom, what is going to happen when the citizens who cannot count on law enforcement to help them and the cops can't count on the support of the mayor? It's going to be chaos. That's a good insight. That's exactly what's going to happen. And then here's one. I'll show you this real quick before taking another phone call from Steve. It's, good morning, Dr. T. I love your passion, your dedication to the truth, conservative Christian values. For your information, I'm so happy to listen to you, and I appreciate you filling in from time to time. Well, thank you so much. That's from Diane, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Diane, for that. I enjoy coming. All right, let's take a phone call to Gainesville, GA. Steve, welcome. You're on the Martha Zoller Show.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, man.
Hey, listen, I appreciate what Senator Kennedy said, and he's spot on with his comment. You know, if after the State of the Union address, the people in this country, the American citizens, aren't blatantly aware of where the Democratic Party stands, then something's wrong with them. You know, they don't have a concern, they don't have a care, they don't appreciate the life that's been given, the life that's, you know, the sacrifice of our military. They don't appreciate the sacrifice of law enforcement. I'm a 20-year veteran of law enforcement. You know, it's just sickening. It's sickening that the Democratic Party has got to the point where they just don't care about the American people. They care more about their agenda, their rhetoric,
their power.
Stand up and shout and holler and look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. Don't look at what I've, you know, it's sickening, Tom. I mean, it is.
Steve, let me ask you a question. So Steve, you know, I was saying to someone just the other day that there's always going to be that 25 to 30% of lunatics, right? The ones that dress up in frog outfits,
Yes, sir.
the ones that, you know, ride the unicycle naked on the highway or whatever. It's always going to be that 25 to 30% lunatics. But Steve, I'm finding it hard to believe that after listening to that State of the Union address and watching what those people, what those Democrats would not stand and support. I'm wondering, Steve, are we that lost as a country now? I mean, are we really at a 50-50? I just can't believe it. I won't believe it.
I don't believe it either. I think it's a very small percent of people, and I think a lot of people are starting to see, and a lot of people are changing, from what I understand and what I've been told. A lot of people are changing the way that they're voting. A lot of people are turning over to the Republican Party or the you know, something other than the Democratic Party, because they're seeing this, and it's like I said, it's got to be apparent to people. I mean, it's as plain as the nose on your face. I mean, they just don't care, and I can't believe that in Georgia or in the South, specifically in the South, I can't believe that anybody would follow that.
I mean, Steve, you know what's interesting? What was really telling about that is you saw John Fetterman from Pennsylvania stand up, and you see our two senators sitting on their duffus. And I'm thinking, what does it come to when we got Georgia senators that can't stand up to a comment that says, if your number one job is to protect American citizens over not immigrants, over illegal immigrants. He made that very clear.
Okay, that's right.
And what, they sit on their hands? Warnock, I didn't see Ossoff there. Now, he may have been there. I'm just saying I didn't see him. But I didn't see Warnock stand up on anything. I mean, maybe he did.
But that is the government's prime concern.
Exactly.
I mean, they are to look after the American people, the legal citizens of America, and their well-being. It can't be misunderstood. That can't be misconstrued as to what he was asking. And they didn't stand it. So that ought to tell the American people that are on the Democratic side, hey, they don't care about you.
Steve, I got to ask you this before you go. I got to ask you this. You're a retired veteran police officer. You're in New York responding to citizens' call about people throwing snowballs with rocks, ice, and bottles embedded, and you respond to that call of citizens, and you end up getting pelted by those same things, but yet your mayor stands up and says it was just a snowball fight out of hand. Now, what do you think as an officer?
Well, first of all, you know, if your brass, the upper staff of your sheriff's office and police departments, and don't stand behind you, your job as a law enforcement officer is no good. Mm-hmm. You cannot effectively police if you are in your policy manual, you are doing things by the book, and they don't stand behind you, then there's a bigger problem at hand than you know. We've got to have the support of our county commissioners, our city elected officials, we've got to have the support of them to do our job. And that's part of the reason I'm not in law enforcement right now.
Yeah.
I got tired of arresting the same people over and over and over and over and over again.
Yep.
And then being on probation or getting probation and back out on the street to commit crimes.
Yeah. Well, Steve, I appreciate you calling, man. What a great call. And I'm going to be on the next couple of Fridays. I look forward to hearing from you again. So give me a call.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thank you, Steve. That's Steve in Gainesville. Appreciate that. Well-informed caller. I would like to hear, really, you know what? So I hear all the time about these independents, okay? Now, I reckon that's what I am because I'm not a registered Republican. I've never been a member of any party. I've never been a registered member of any party in my whole life. And I've never missed a presidential, senator, or governor's race election in my entire life since I turned the age to vote. I may have missed a couple of referendums or maybe a special election, but even in college and graduate school, wherever I was, I voted. And so maybe I am independent by the book because I've never been registered under a party, but I'd like to hear some of those, quote, independents out there who just hate Trump so much. You just got Trump derangement syndrome when you know who you are. You just don't like him. You hate him. But I'm trying to figure out, okay, so you like the frogs and the man dressed up as a giraffe and the guy on the unicycle naked riding down the highway. I mean, but you like that. You like AOC's answer about our support if Taiwan is invaded. You like Omar's answer about how the fraud got started and why it occurred. You like that? I mean, I don't understand some of who I'm hearing are independents. I don't get it. So maybe you could call me as an independent. I mean, it just looks like you want to cut off your face to despite your nose or something. 770-535-2911. I've got some good stories to talk to you about today, but I'd love to hear your conversation as well and or your text. So drop it to me. 770-535-2911. I'm Tom Smiley. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Martha Zoller Show.
After pulling away from Lafayette in round one, the Cherokee Bluff Lady Bears advance to take on the Ridgeland Lady Panthers. Sweet 16 coverage begins tonight at 6:20 on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
It's rolling, rolling. That jackpot's rolling. If your scratcher didn't win, you can play it once again and win that growing jackpot in the sky. That jackpot's rolling.
Got yourself a scratcher that didn't win? Well, my friend, it still could, because now all non-winning scratchers can be entered to win the rolling jackpot, which grows and grows.
That jackpot's rolling.
The rolling jackpot, another way to win from the Georgia Lottery. Learn more and enter at galottery.com. Please play responsibly. Always check and sign your ticket.
Hey, Georgia, want to hit the jackpot? You can when you play the new Jackpots Galore family of scratchers. With top prizes from $50,000 to $2 million. You can win a ton of cash instantly. Play the Jackpots Galore scratchers from the Georgia Lottery.
Tune in to WSB Channel 2 for your official Georgia Lottery drawing. And check out the Players Club at galottery.com.
Matt Hayes here from Hayes Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac in Baldwin. Check out the new savings event here at Hayes. 2026 Chevy Trax for only $24,990. 2025 Chevy Suburbans for $11,000 off MSRP. Or best of all, a 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500, $10,000 off MSRP, including trades assistance rebate. Ask about our free lifetime powertrain warranty and come check out these deals and more at Hayes Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac in Baldwin.
Family at Hayes. United We Run for those struggling to make ends meet. Join us Saturday, March 21st at 9 a.m. as we race through Phase 2 of the scenic Highlands to Islands Trail. This event features a 5K and 1 mile fun run with every step supporting United Way of Hall County's One Hall United Against Poverty initiative. Make an even bigger impact by becoming a sponsor. For more information and to register, log on to unitedwayhallcounty.org/race.
I'm Frank Norton, the Norton Agency. My family has created a unique 96-year legacy real estate business. You're human, God's creatures. Our primary mission is to find you a home, putting a roof over you and your family's heads. Warmth, comfort, security, that's our job. You need Norton by your side now more than ever. Call us at 770-532-0022 or look for us on the web at gonorton.com. Our family serving North Georgia for 4 generations.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, day 10 of testimony now underway in the Barrow County trial for the father of alleged Appalachia High School shooter Colt Gray. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Tom Smiley filling in for Martha. Glad to have you listening all over the place. Thank you so very much. It's good to be with you. 770-535-2911. I love hearing from you. Well, I mean, some more than others. I'm just teasing. Don't get all upset. Okay, so I'm just doing this segment on the State of the Union because of because that's what I wanted to do, right? I mean, it's my show, so I get to do it. And so I'm just telling you what I found intriguing and interesting. And this is a clip that really talks. I don't understand how anybody could not, support this. I don't understand how you don't understand this. Because had the big, beautiful bill, okay, I know I don't like that name. I know you don't like that name. Name it something else. I know you hate the big, beautiful bill name. But the fact is, it was a good bill that was passed. It has a lot of good things in it that people are experiencing today. And one of them was really about a large tax cut. You understand, if the big, beautiful bill had not passed, then in this filing season, you'd be hit with thousands of dollars more in your tax bill. Now, who wants that? And not just increased taxes, but increased giveaways to people who don't deserve it. So here's President Reagan. Here's President Trump saying, I don't get you people. Like all of you, every one of you, I'm looking at you. Every one of you said no to the largest tax cut in American history.
All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead.
What is not true about that? We hear all these lunatic Marxist socialist Democrats, some who listen to this show, say that's not true. What about that isn't true? If the reduction of taxes as specified in the big, beautiful bill had not gone into place, you'd be paying more taxes a day. Okay, is that what you want? I reckon you do. Maybe you have more money than you need and you don't mind that. I prefer not to do that personally. But maybe you have enough money it doesn't bother you. Maybe you hate Trump so bad that you're willing to pay another $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a year in taxes. I don't get it. I mean, this is what irritates me about the people on the left who want to argue me down. I have yet heard any policies, even from some of my favorite callers of the other persuasion. Some of you are listening right now. And you love to call up here and cherry pick some things I've said, and you want to condemn Trump and condemn his personality and say he's the Epstein files and say he did this and say he did that. But I never hear you say, here's a better policy. Hey, instead of no tax on tips, instead of no tax on overtime, instead of lower taxes on Social Security for seniors, here's my idea. I never hear that from you. Some of you who call up on this show, and I appreciate you. I like you. I'm sure you're a good person. I'm sure your grandchildren, if you have them, love you to death. But it does irritate me when you call up here and all you want to do is bash Trump and say how stupid, how narcissistic, how ugly he is, and what he's done in the past, but you never offer a single policy. Give me a policy. What would work better for our economy? You never offer that. And Trump is right. He was right in this statement in the State of the Union. Every single Democrat voted, including our two senators, voted for the largest tax increase in American history. I don't know how you get past it. Well, now we have President Trump. Is he pulling a page out of the Biden playbook? Because here he is. He's announcing a special task for the vice president.
It's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance.
Well, I can tell you one thing. It may be a page out of Biden's playbook when he put Kamala in charge of the border. Remember, she was the border czar? You remember that? Well, let me tell you what. I guarantee you Mr. J.D. Vance would do a much better job fighting fraud than Kamala Harris ever did in regards to securing the border. Well, let's just measure him. Let's just, give him a year. Give him a year or two, and let's see how he did comparing his task to Kamala's task as vice president. Of course, it won't be close. Kamala didn't have the capacity to do anything about it. She didn't have the capacity, in my estimation, to really make a difference. J.D. Vance does, and he will. You're listening to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley. We'll be right back. You stay tuned.
If you have spring fever, Full Bloom Nursery in Claremont is the place to shop. This is Kelly, and since 2003, we have been North Georgia's source for large quantities of annuals, perennials, vegetables, hanging baskets, and shrubs. We're a true nursery where you can shop for quality plants at great prices. Whatever your needs, we have 5 acres of inventory, so there's always something for everyone. Visit our website at fullbloomnursery.com or call 678-616-3035.
Full Bloom reopens Monday, March 2nd.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-478-6430 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-478-6430. That's 800-478-6430. What do you have to lose? Call 800-478-6430. Again, 800-478-6430.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10 o'clock.
What will Bill Clinton say about Jeffrey Epstein? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. An hour from now, the former president will be questioned under oath by the House Oversight Committee in the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking investigation.
This is the highest profile deposition in congressional history. Never before has a former president been deposed by a House committee.
Fox's Chad Pergram is in Chappaqua, New York, where the Clintons live, and the questioning will take place like yesterday, when Hillary Clinton told lawmakers she's never met Epstein.
The former president met and even traveled with Jeffrey Epstein. Democrats believe that hauling in former President Clinton gives them ammo to request an appearance by President Trump, especially if they flip the House in this fall's midterms.
In a few hours, President Trump will travel to Corpus Christi, Texas, to campaign for Republicans before Tuesday's primaries.
His visit during a heated Republican U.S. Senate primary race between incumbent John Cornyn, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, and U.S. Rep. Wesley Hunt. The president has yet to endorse a candidate in that race, despite making several recent endorsements in other Texas races.
That's Fox's Jeff Manasso. The U.S. ambassador to Israel is telling embassy staff if they want to leave the country ahead of a potential conflict with Iran, go today. Fox's Peter Ducey's at the White House.
What would a potential war with Iran look like? According to Vice President Vance, who gave this quote to the Washington Post, the idea that we're going to be in a Middle Eastern war for years with no end in sight, there is no chance that will happen.
Vance meets today with Oman's foreign minister, who has been brokering U.S. nuclear talks with Iran. With Homeland Security mostly unfunded for the past 2 weeks, Fox's Jessica Rosenthal reports this isn't payday for some federal workers.
Thousands of employees within the Department of Homeland Security, including at FEMA, the TSA, Secret Service, and the Coast Guard, are receiving no or partial pay as of today.
Democrats have blocked Homeland Security funding in the Senate, demanding immigration enforcement reforms. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and the Hall County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate a pedestrian fatality that involved a train in Lula Thursday. Deputies and Hall County Fire Rescue were dispatched at around 3 p.m. to the crossings of McLeod and Main Streets in Lula, where a man was struck by a train. The unidentified male died at the scene. Norfolk Southern Railway temporarily halted traffic in the area, and the intersection of the roadway was closed during the investigation late yesterday. No further details have been released. Detention and data centers could be on the chopping block within the borders of Hall County, and that's due to a 180-day moratorium imposed by county commissioners during Thursday's meeting. Residents and community organizer Mateo Pinedo had been the first to speak to the commission Thursday and raised concerns about the proposed facility being a stone's throw away from 2 Hispanic restaurants and a dance studio.
Hall County is called the chicken capital of the world, and that title exists because of immigrant and Latino workers, people like my mom and dad, my aunts and uncles and cousins who do the hardest, most dangerous jobs in the poultry plants.
Chairman David Gibbs said that the county has received 0 communication from the federal government during the process of the proposed ICE detention facility purchase on Atlanta Highway. There is one last name in the Democratic field of candidates for Georgia governor. WDUN's Caleb Hutchins with more.
Georgia State House District 97 Representative Rua Roman of Duluth announced on Thursday that she is suspending her campaign for governor. Roman, a 32-year-old who grew up in Forsyth County after her family immigrated to the U.S. when she was a child, has served in the state house since 2022. She said she's now shifting her campaign to run for the soon-to-be vacant State Senate District 7 seat. That seat is currently held by fellow Duluth Democrat Nabila Parks, who recently announced she's running for Georgia Insurance Commissioner. Roman cited funding concerns compared to other Democrat candidates in the gubernatorial race.
And a baby that was reported missing in Barrow County Thursday after the father transported the child out of the county has been located and is safe. WDUN's Lawson Smith with more.
The Barrow County Sheriff's Office says the child was reported missing from Carla Court at around 10 a.m. An initial investigation determined that the child's father, Cesar Martinez, had taken the baby to DeKalb County. Authorities in that jurisdiction were notified and located the child safely.
More news at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good Friday morning, North Georgia. Clouds to start. We're going to see some sunshine before the day is through. We're in the mid-60s for highs. Partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight. Upper 40s for lows. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Blairsville, 52 degrees. Sugar Hill with 56. And in Gainesville, 54. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
There's no doubt we've seen all the snow we want to see. But a blizzard? That's a different thing. That's because I'm talking about the famous gotta-have Dairy Queen Blizzard. Right now, Dairy Queen is offering buy one, get one blizzards on Sundays. Just think of it. All your favorite blizzard favorites are BOGO on Sundays. So grab a friend and head for BOGO Blizzards this Sunday at Dairy Queen of Gainesville on Green Street and Shallowford Road and on Frontage Road in Oakwood. There's never a good day for bad weather, but there's never a bad day for a Dairy Queen Blizzard.
Matt Hayes here from Hayes Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac in Baldwin. Check out the new savings event here at Hayes. 2026 Chevy Trax for only $24,990. 2025 Chevy Suburbans for $11,000 off MSRP. Or best of all, a 2026 Chevy Silverado 1500, $10,000 off MSRP, including trades assistance rebate. Ask about our free lifetime powertrain warranty and come check out these deals and more at Hayes Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac in Baldwin.
From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show. Talking the issues and filling in for Martha, it's Dr. Tom Smiley on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
All right, welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley filling in. I'll be back with you the next couple of Fridays, so mark that on your calendar. I'd love to know you're listening. Let me finish up this segment on the State of the Union, and then we got a couple of phone calls that I want to get to, so we'll do that real quick. So we got Steve and Ed holding. So y'all hang on for just a second because I want to finish this last segment here. So the next clip I want to play for you is one regarding the huge win that I believe is accurate. I believe this was a huge win for the president. And especially when he turned to many on the other side of the aisle and said, you know what, you really ought to be ashamed of yourselves.
This is what you call a home run speech.
Among speech watchers tonight, 64% say his policies will move the U.S. in the right direction. And look at the growth President Trump made over the speech. So pre-speech, it was 54% of speech watchers said his policies will move the U.S. in the right direction. After the speech, that number goes up 10 percentage points. So Donald Trump made some progress with people watching the speech.
So prior to the speech, 54% of respondents said the country's in the right direction. And after the speech, 64%. That's a 10-point swing, which is pretty big in the polling, surveying kind of business there. So I think, I don't see how you can say that it wasn't a big win for the president. All right, here's one. This is my last one. This is my favorite one of the night because this is what so many of us are thinking. I mean, so many of us think this exact thing.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that was uncalled for. I understand a one-time quibble, a one-time shout-out, but these two Congresswomen, Tlaib and Omar, attempted to shout down the President of the United States during the State of the Union address as if the millions of Americans who tuned in to watch cared what those two squad members thought. That wasn't their place. And if you notice, the speaker actually stood up and reached for his gavel. He was about to gavel them out of the room, which is what they really wanted. He was probably very, very wise in not doing that because President Trump took care of it. But, you know, it's kind of like when you go to a baseball game, a football game, a basketball game, and you come across a set of referees who think that you've paid your $5 to watch them ref instead of watching the game. You know, you've seen refs like that. That's their mindset. And these two thought, millions of Americans have tuned in to watch me yell down the president. What a absolute, utter shame. All right, well, I've got one more I'll use in a minute. It's Fetterman. I'll come back to him because Fetterman, I'll get him later. But, you know, he did stand up. He did shake the president's hand. So he was civil. But these two Congresswomen, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. The president of, if two Congresswomen had shouted down Barack Hussein Obama like that, you know you'd be upset about it. Some of you listening. All right, we'll take a phone call. We'll go to Steve first. You've been waiting the longest. Ed, you're next up. Hey, Steve, welcome to the Martha Zoller Show.
Morning, brother.
Hey. Turn your radio down just a little bit. so it won't back.
I cut it off.
Yeah, thank you.
Here's my thing.
Uh-huh.
I think Omar, if that's the one that was given how that happened, I think she let the cat out of the bag. Because I think how these people are enriching themselves is through these nonprofits. They know the government ain't looking at nothing. They're just funding this money. And I think that's exactly how it happened. I'm watching Clinton on a boat with Obama on American Greed. They took money and run it through their nonprofit for the Haitians. They never built a house. The money went through these things that Clinton and them got set up with their nonprofits. Nobody ever investigates it.
Yeah.
And they all get rich beyond their wildest dreams. And from my understanding, USAID has never been audited since the early 60s.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to stop that stuff. It's just it's crooked as a snake.
Well, and Omar said when she was asked about fraud, Omar said, well, the problem is that there just weren't the right guardrails put up. Well, so Steve, my question, what about the guardrail of honesty? You apply for a government grant, you apply for government assistance to help transport people, to help take care of children, to feed whatever. You apply for these grants, you get the money, and you have to have a guardrail to keep you honest. How about just be honest?
Yeah. Well, like I said, they took billions of dollars on that hurricane that hit Haiti for building them houses, never built a house, and the contractor ends up in prison, and they don't do nothing to the Clintons.
Yeah, you better watch out. He's liable to commit suicide by shooting himself in the back of the head 6 times. So,
have a good day.
All right, thank you. All right, let's catch you on a phone call. Good call, Steve. Thank you. We'll go to the phone call. Ed in Brazelton. Welcome, Ed.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
I just want to say that you just said no one has ever shouted out Obama during the State of the Union. I mean, you remember Congressman Wilson of South Carolina when he called Obama a liar?
Yeah, he did it. He did it one time. He did it one time.
But you guys one time started this.
Ed, I love you to death, buddy. But you can't do these. I got you. You got you. I got you. He did it one time subtly. It was barely audible. One time, Ed. These two women continued to they continued to interrupt the president. I mean, are you with that? Is Ed from Brazelton with that?
No, I'm saying it's wrong on both sides.
I'm
saying it's wrong on both sides. I'm an independent. And I'm looking at it both sides. Both sides do this crap. Whether it's Marjorie Taylor Greene, Congressman Wilson, or the lady from Minnesota, Ilhan Omar, they're all wrong for that.
Very good.
You can't just mention one side without mentioning the other. And when it comes to fraud,
no, Ed, hold. If you go back and listen to the tape, maybe it's before you listened, I mentioned the Republican congressman who did it. If you go back and listen, I mentioned him.
Okay.
So
okay, I stand corrected.
And I know you probably didn't hear it because you wouldn't have heard that and said I didn't. But my basis of that was it was a one-time, more subtle, a lot more quiet, one time than a continual interruption. That's my beef with it. All right, go back to the fraud.
Right. When it comes to the fraud, man, it's hard for me to take Donald Trump serious when he pardons guys like Mr. Zhao, the Binance cryptocurrency CEO that defrauded billions of dollars from the American people. I mean, no president in American history has pardoned more fraudsters than Donald Trump. We can go to his CEO, ex-CEO Alan Weisselberg, Trump CEO. He was charged with what? Tax evasion, larceny, and all type of fraud against the American people. I'm not excusing it, sir.
We're excusing the $19 billion fraud. Can you say that's wrong?
Oh, yeah, of course it's wrong. But we got one man here, Mr. Zhao, that controlled Binance, cryptocurrency. He defrauded billions. Just one guy. And guess what? Trump pardons him.
But you can
How am I supposed to take him serious?
But you support J.D. Vance's appointment to try to wipe out the fraud. You are with me on that, right? That you wish him well. You wish him well.
I wish him well, but I'm telling you right now, coming from a president who has pardoned more fraudsters in American history, I'm not going to take it serious, sir.
Okay, that's
Forgive
fine.
me.
Yeah, that's good.
It's hard to take him serious.
You have that right. Let's see what the pudding cooks out. Let's see if the pudding cooks out.
Smiley, how can I take him serious if he's pardoned so many criminals that have done the same thing?
Yeah. Well, I have feelings about Biden's auto pen pardons, Ed. I mean, do you want to talk about that?
Can you prove it was an auto pen?
Okay. So it wasn't auto pen. So it wasn't auto pen. So he did it intentionally. Are you good with that?
Why hasn't anybody been charged?
Are you good with that? Are you good with him pre-pardoning people?
No. I disagree with that also. But I want to. Why hasn't anybody been charged like we've seen in the Trump administration? A lot of Trump associates, a lot of Trump business associates, they were either pardoned or in jail. All right, and Trump had to pardon them out. But I don't see the same. These so-called criminals in the Obama administration that Trump bragged about for all these years, where are they? They're not. They haven't been charged. They're not in jail.
Yeah.
No one in the one in the Obama administration was charged with serious crime.
Yeah.
That tells you that Obama had one of the cleanest administrations in U.S. history.
Just like Hillary Clinton erasing 30,000 emails, and the FBI director, Biden's FBI director, gets up there and says there's nothing to see here. 30,000 emails. 30,000.
You guys are in power, Mr. Smiley. You guys are in power right now. Why aren't they in jail? All right, I can name you a bunch of people that were locked up and charged with crimes that were associated with Donald Trump, but I can't name anybody that's in the Obama administration that were locked up and charged with serious crimes.
It's called federal judicial activist judges, is what it's called, Ed.
You guys are in power. Look,
they can't throw a judge out.
Pam Bondi is the Attorney General of the United States.
Yeah,
Where are these charges? Where are these charges against the Obama administration that you guys claim were committing all these crimes? Where are they, Mr. Smiley?
There are all kinds of charges, Ed, but the federal judges who are activists throw them out.
All
right, Ed, thank you for calling. Appreciate it. We got to take a quick break here. You're listening to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley. We'll be right back. You stay tuned.
In North Georgia,
it's the topics that matter to me.
We're your eyes and ears in the community with the latest breaking news.
It's the most important thing we face.
AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN. Always here, always local.
Have you ever been at your wit's end over your identity? Hi, this is Whit Martin, pastor of Asbury Chapel. Life takes us through ups and downs, testing and challenging who we are and even who we think we are. Identities can seem to fluctuate, which means there is a bit of trying things out. But when our identities are grounded in Jesus Christ, we discover our true selves, and with that comes confidence and peace. The Bible says in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17, "Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away, behold, the new has come." To be in Christ means to find ourselves through God and not through anything else, not through interests, hobbies, passions, or desires. To be in Christ is for something new to come, something that is from God. I invite you to search God's Word and see that God has more for you than who you think you are, and let God reveal to you who you are in Him. And that is Wit's End. Asbury Chapel invites you to learn more by joining us at 758 Main Street or visit asburychapel.net for more info.
Winter days have me dreaming of sunny, warm shores and great times with friends around the table. That's why I'm looking forward to teaming up with Colette and Peach State Bank and Trust to head to Portugal with you this fall. It's Bill Main inviting you to join us as we enjoy multiple nights in charming Porto and the amazing Algarve coast. We'll walk the cobblestone streets and cruise the scenic Douro River, from the colorful capital of Lisbon to the stunning whitewashed villages of the Algarve. We'll savor wonderful foods, bask on beautiful beaches, and even tour a family-owned cork factory. If you missed the recent informational meeting we had with Colette, fear not, it's not too late to find out more and to get signed up. All you need to do is log on to WDUNtravels.com for all the information. You can even sign up there. Or call Colette at 800-581-8942. Get your questions answered and then get on board with us September 28th as we head for Portugal. Presented by Colette, Peach State Bank and Trust, and North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
This is Mike Cormier, General Manager at Hardy Chevrolet. Some folks think that the automobile business is just about selling cars. At Hardy, we know it's more than just that. For us, it's about helping that young driver with their first car and helping that growing family that needs a bigger car. It's about relationships. It's about family. Drop by for a visit and you'll understand what Charles Hardy always said.
We love you and we need you.
Together, let's drive. At Hardy Chevrolet, Browns Ridge Road in Gainesville, online at hardychevrolet.com.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, Hall County officials say an unidentified male died from a pedestrian accident involving a train near Lula Thursday. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN Talk and Text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley filling in for Martha. Appreciate all your phone calls. Appreciate your texts. Thank you for listening. Lord, I have to just thankfully, management came in with a box full of not the little small, tiny oatmeal cookies, but I'm talking about, Logan, these are the big oatmeal cream
brought
cookies.
us the jumbo size.
I'll
take it.
Yeah, I've got two because they'll be gone when I come back next Friday. That newsroom,
you know they will.
That newsroom back there, they'll go through a box of oatmeal cream cookies in like one cycle. So I'm going to put two in my bag for next Friday. But anyway, I've got my coffee now, and I've got the doctor said eat more oatmeal. He said, Tom, oatmeal would be good for you. So that's why I try to focus on these oatmeal cream pies. They're going to help me get better. All right, so here's John Fetterman. Now, it's something interesting about John Fetterman. He is not a conservative, right? I don't see myself ever voting for John Fetterman because he has some policies and some beliefs that are just against many of my core values, my basic core values, like life, for instance. But he has been consistent on Israel, and he has been a sane voice. So I don't know that I'd ever vote for him, but I do appreciate him. I do appreciate John Fetterman. See, I can respect John Fetterman. I don't respect Raphael Warnock. I don't respect John Ossoff. I don't respect either one of those two. And it's my right. I can respect who I want to. But I do respect Fetterman, and this is kind of why I respect him, because he talks about what's sane, what's civil, what's rational.
The rest of people in my party would stand up and clap for. I clapped with a lot of those things that it seemed like others. Like I stood up and I clapped to recognize the family that lost their daughter, the Ukrainian girl that was stabbed to death, in North Carolina. And I stood up and I clapped that political prisoner from Venezuela, how you can't celebrate those kinds of things. And now I also celebrated all the veterans that were in the audience as well, too. And even more the political things like Erica Kirk. I stood up and I clapped for her as well, too. Now, here, can't we just be more kind to a widow? I mean, we just shouldn't be that long ago that a widow, with young children has her husband murdered, how we can't just acknowledge that as well, too. Wow. Whether white people would attack her, whether the left or the right either. So I'm always going to stand up and clap for things that I agreed with like striking the Iranian, sites now for me. I never worry about who's standing up or clapping. If I see it, I'm going to. If I don't agree with it or whatever, I'm certainly not going to yell and scream and disrupt the whole thing.
Well, I mean, thank you, Senator Fetterman. I get it. It's a passionate. And by the way, I've been in that room where the State of the Union was presented. I've been in the room. I've been behind the podium. So it on TV it looks massive, but it's really small. And I mean, people are right in your face. And I get that there's a lot of passion, a lot of enthusiasm. But Fetterman is talking about decency and civility. And I mentioned the Republican guy who called Obama a liar or whatever. And I said then that was not right. You got to respect the office. I put up with 8 years of Barack Hussein Obama. 8 years. I tolerated Barack Hussein Obama. Okay? I didn't protest in the street. I didn't throw rocks at the police. I didn't protest and bust up police cars. I put up with Barack Hussein Obama for 8 years. But what these two women did at the State of the Union address was uncalled for. They interrupted the President of the United States on several accounts. And by the way, I keep hearing them talk about how he lied about the economy, but yet I've not heard one example of where he lied. Is inflation down or not? Is the price of eggs lower right now than it was during Biden's administration? Is the price of gas lower right now than it was during Biden's administration? Is the border closed or opened? I'm telling you, we hear all this about lies and it's just none of it true. They have no policies. Even when some of our regular callers from the other side of the aisle call up here, what do they always default back to? I'm not going to use their names. I don't want to talk about somebody that's not on the line. But what do they always default back to? They always default back to, well, yeah, but look what Trump did 5 years, 2 years, 10 years, 20 years ago. Always default. They never default to a policy. Have you noticed that? They never default to a policy. They won't stand up when they're asked to stand up to support Americans over illegal immigrants. They won't stand up when they're asked to stand up to not allow men in women's locker rooms. They won't stand up when we talk about deporting criminal, illegal aliens. They'll condemn, and they'll always default back to what happened 4 years, 5 years, 10 years ago. But then their memories lapse in their default positions when they suddenly forget that Hillary destroyed 30,000 emails, that the Benghazi deaths of our citizens was Hillary's fault under Barack Hussein Obama. Their default mechanism doesn't work as well in those memories. But yeah, let's remember what Donald Trump did 40 years ago. All right, I've got a couple of stories that will get your dander up. You stay tuned. Don't go away.
This might be the best match you'll make all year. It's the tax match event at Krause Family Hyundai of Gainesville. We'll match your tax refund or down payment up to $3,000 when you buy a new Hyundai. So if you have $3,000, you end up with $6,000 toward a new Hyundai like the 2026 Palisade. Plus, you get America's best warranty, a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty and Hyundai Assurance. Find your match before it ends. Get to Krause Family Hyundai on Atlanta Highway off I-985 in Gainesville or visit KrauseFamilyHyundai.com for full details.
This month, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say Micro, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, Micro, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
It's Bill Main, and Friday on Main Street, we had a great time talking with Mike Wolf of American Pickers.
One of the reasons American Pickers has been successful over the past 16 years, hearing stories firsthand from the people that we're finding it from.
Be sure to start your Monday with Mornings on Main Street. Steve Logan and yours truly will be here to get things going right here on North Georgia's News Talk.
WDUN Gainesville, WDUN FM Clarksville, Gainesville. Always here, always local.
It's 10:30.
Fox
News. I'm CJ Papa. Bill Clinton will soon answer questions in suburban New York from the House Oversight Committee.
The former president met and even traveled with Jeffrey Epstein. Democrats believe that hauling in former President Clinton gives them ammo to request an appearance by President Trump, especially if they flip the House in this fall's midterms.
That's Fox's Chad Pergam reporting. President Trump will stop in the port city of Corpus Christi, Texas later today, talking about lowering energy prices as key to his economic plan. While he's there, he's going to be standing in front of one of the sea's Venezuelan oil tankers. And the U.S. ambassador in Israel telling embassy staff, if you want to go, leave today as tensions are heightened in the region. America's listening to Fox News.
Always here, always local.
WDUN. From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet Newsroom, I'm Steve Winslow, and the Hall County Sheriff's Office says it's investigating a pedestrian fatality that involved a train Thursday in Lula. Deputies were dispatched at around 3 p.m. to the crossings of McLeod and Main Street, where a man was struck by a train. The unidentified man died at the scene. No further details have been released. On day 9 of Colin Gray's trial in Barrow County Superior Court, investigators testified about the weapon and ammunition used by Colin's son, Colt Gray, in the Appalachia High School shootings. Ashley Gilland with Barrow County District Attorney's Office testified on the digital research, describing several documents and photos, including one of a blue blanket on Colt Gray's bed taken days before the school shootings.
With 4 black magazines, 1 tan magazine, and then the rifle, which appears to be the 6R rifle on the bed as well.
Those magazines that are in that picture, are they consistent with the magazines that were found at Appalachia on September 4th?
They are, yes.
Day 10 of the trial is underway in Barrow County. And United Way of Hall County is inviting nonprofits and community organizations to participate in the Community Investment Grant Training for the 2027 cycle. The sessions will be April 21st from 2 to 4 p.m. and April 30th from 9 to 11 a.m. Further details and more news at Access WDUN. Now here's your Access WDUN weather forecast.
Good Friday morning, North Georgia. Clouds to start, but guess what? We're going to see some sunshine before the day is through. We're in the mid-60s for highs. Partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight, upper 40s for lows. From the Access WDUN Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Holly Strano.
In Clayton, 53 degrees, Decula, 56, and in Gainesville, 55. From North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
100 grand is what you could win over and over again. You could win big every time. Go play Keno. Numbers, then Keno picks 20. The more you match, the more you win. Money win 1 time, 2 times, there's no limits. Up to 100 grand every 3.5 minutes.
You like winning over and over again? It could happen with Keno. That's right. You could win 100 grand playing at the bar, in the store, or online. And there's a new game starting every 3.5 minutes. So why win big just once?
100 grand is what you could win.
Win up to $100,000 every 3.5 minutes. Play Keno from the Georgia Lottery. Play responsibly.
Hey, Georgia, looking to win a ton of cash? Pick up a scratcher from the Georgia Lottery. You know, there are almost 367,000 scratcher winners a day. That's over 2.3 million winners a week. Just go to your favorite retailer to get your hands on a scratcher today.
Tune in to WSB Channel 2 for your official Georgia Lottery drawing and check out the Players Club at galottery.com.
It's the Martha Zoller Show, presented by Gainesville Mechanical. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Welcome back to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley. A couple of texts for you real quick. I read a text from, let's see, it was a 4015 number that talked about, the value of dumping the electronic voting machines. Which I'm not all opposed to, but it was written in the context of how we're going to win the midterms, and the texter said, well, we got to dump those voting machines, which I agree. But my comment was, we got to have a different strategy because that's not going to happen between now and November. So the texter, 4015, wrote back, texted me back and said, yeah, you're right about that. I get that. But it's going to take President Trump, the DOJ, and an act of God to overcome the corruption in our elections. And that, you are exactly right, my friend. I mean, serving as the chairman of the Hall County Election Board for right at 6.5 years, I am well aware of the potential of fraud, corruption, and abuse in elections. I mean, it didn't happen here in Gainesville because we had a tight ship and we had an excellent director and a fantastic staff. But it happens. I know it happens, and I can see how it does. So thank you for those texts. Another one said, another 4095 texter said, hey, look, really enjoyed the State of the Union. I believe President Trump was right on everything. And another one of our callers said, hey, thanks for filling in. For Martha, enjoy listening to you. And by the way, how do they get so much money, grant money? Because I know it's hard to get. That is true. And then, this Larry said, Tom, great show as always. My favorite line from Hillary was, what difference does it make? Great line. Good remembrance there, Larry. Yeah, good call. I may find that audio and play it next Friday for you. All right, let's go to Jerry. We got phone calls waiting all over the wazoozle here. We'll go to Jerry first in Gainesville. Hey, Jerry, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. Smiley. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Question.
Sir.
How long Mr. Barack Obama been out of office?
Oh, let's see. 5 years maybe? No, yeah, about 5 years, I would suppose.
Well, why are we still talking about the past? We need to live for the future. You know,
Good.
you talking about how much Trump done, what he done.
Good.
He haven't done nothing.
Good point.
He got you all bamboozled.
Yeah, good point about living in the future. You know, that's a good point because I'm sure you're like me. You get tired of all these liberal leftist Democrats wanting to continually bash what Trump did 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 years ago. I agree with you on that. Let's get to the future and talk about what's happening right now, like the price of gas down, the price of eggs down, inflation down, the border sealed, regulatory issues reduced. I'm with you on that. Let's get it down to the present. Good call. Thank you, Jerry. All right, let's take a phone call here. Bill in Gainesville. Welcome, Bill.
Yeah. Am I on?
Yep, you're on.
Yeah, well, thank you, Tom, for what you do. I really appreciate you and Martha a lot. I've got a question about the portion of our school tax that goes to pay for illegals.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, we're having to pay for their free education for 12, years of education, also for free transportation to and from school and lunch and breakfast. And my understanding is the school officials cannot ask a student or a parent of a student if the child is illegal. And I'm like, why not? So we're being forced to pay that portion of school tax for illegal activities. And I just don't think that's fair. And I don't know what we can do about it. But I understand this. There was a Supreme Court ruling years ago, 1982, where they ruled on the word person. And they say a person residing in the United States. It didn't say whether legal or not. It just said if they're residing, they're entitled to free education. So anybody can just walk across the border, and then all of a sudden they just apply. The parent enrolls them in schools. School can't ask if they're illegal or not, and then all of a sudden, bam, the taxpayer has to pay for all this free stuff. And I'm like, I don't think that's fair. What do you think?
Well, that's a great question for Martha because she's a lot more in tune to that kind of specificity in stuff than I am. But I will tell you, I mean, look at New York. I mean, you had AOC and Comrade Madami go on together and say in Spanish in a television ad, all of the illegal immigrants, you're welcome to enroll your child in our schools and preschools and free daycares. I mean, so they did that in Spanish. I reckon the people in New York don't mind their tax money going to pay for that. I'm more on your side. I prefer my taxpayer money not to be going for that, reducing some cost. So I don't know. That's a great call, and that's something that I just don't know. But I do know that you're right about the Supreme Court ruling. I do know that, and I don't understand. But isn't that symptomatic, though, of everything? It's not just your schools. It's also your hospitals and your roads and your infrastructure and all of your resources. I mean, everything is affected. Everything. So a good call, and thank you for those questions. I'll mention to Martha to look into that, and she probably has the answer in mind. All right. Well, look, I want to shift gears for just 1 second. You got to listen to Harold Ford because, many times I talk about those radical Democrat, socialist, Marxist, leftist, and that's what I view them as, their ideology. I'm not talking about them as people. I don't even know them as people, but I can tell you their ideology, for the most part, is Marxist, socialist. I mean, that's what it is. Go look it up. But Harold Ford, who's often on Fox, he's on the 5 program, he is I think, one of the sane voices of the Democratic Party, and he doesn't mind calling out his party when they need to make some changes. And I thought you might like just to listen to this. It's about 2 minutes. Just listen to what Harold is saying about what I said earlier, offer some solutions.
A couple of things. I think we can come to the Mandami race in one moment. Sanders and Mandami are one of a kind. They endorse each other, support each other. Elizabeth Warren as well. So they come from a side of the party that believes, or not my side of the party. And Mandami is actually a socialist. So I don't consider him a Democrat. 2, in my lifetime, there have been 2 major realignments of the political party system. One was in '92 when Bill Clinton won. Democrats had not won in a while. He had a different message. He was different on some of the social issues, including capital punishment. He was even different a little bit on the abortion issue. He was against late-term abortions. In my lifetime, I'm 55, the first time a national Democrat had spoken like that. He then gets to office 4 years later, 5 years later. The first time the budget had been balanced at the federal level in 30 years. It still hasn't been balanced since. And then 2016, President Trump, what he was able to do in upending the way working class voters thought about the Republican Party, in the way even minority groups, which have traditionally gone for Democrats, how they thought about the Republican Party. As we sit here today, Democrats still haven't gotten the right message. They seem to be more cathartic than strategic in their thinking about how to go forward. Wouldn't it be nice if we actually offered ideas? I had some time one Saturday night, listened to an interview that Bernie Sanders had. I watched some of his rally in West Virginia. I was clearly didn't have a lot to do for a little bit on Saturday. But it was interesting because I listened, and a lot of the things he said I agreed with in terms of his diagnosing of the challenges. But his answers, he didn't really seem to have any answers. A lot of it, when it came time, I thought give answers, he just criticized President Trump. I thought to myself, wouldn't it be great if Democrats would encourage administration to provide, since they want to shut the Department of Education, say instead of doing that, let's provide more funding for cities and states that are doing reform things, innovative things. You've talked about some of the things in the past, including the state of Mississippi, which is doing remarkable things around K through 12 education. Cities that are doing things in the charter school space, even in the voucher space that's working. Let's reward those things that are working. 2, the biggest challenge, and one of the reasons that Mandami's doing well here in New York, is that he's talking about affordability and housing affordability. Why not give first-time home buyers who qualified, who are actually eligible, who have the income, give them bigger down payment assistance, and let's give them bigger tax breaks to be able to own a home. President Trump said no taxes on tips and overtime. I kind of like the instinct, but the real thing ought to be to help everybody that's earning $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 a year, a little less. The first $50,000 of income should be tax-free for every American. Mm-hmm. That's what Democrats ought to be offering. The only way we're going to get back this group of voters and make this thing more competitive and have a chance to win again is if we stop attacking Trump and start addressing and listening to voters. It's a very simple thing. It's happened for now. We'll celebrate 250 years next year. Every politician that's ever won has actually listened to voters and tried to respond to their needs and aspirations.
Harold Ford is right. I mean, I respect this man. First of all, from what I know of him, he is a good man, a good, honest, decent man. So that's one thing I want to say about Harold Ford. And by the way, isn't it refreshing to hear a politician talk about stuff without having to use the F word every other word? Does that bother anybody but Tom Smiley? I mean, I hear all these crazy, wacko, crazy people on the Democratic Party side constantly using the F word, F word, F word, F word. Why is that? My mother always told me that if you had to use profanity like that, that was just indicative that you had a very poor vocabulary. That's what she always told me. But Harold Ford is right. And I've been saying that. You've heard me say that many times. Offer solutions. And I would say the names of several of our callers, but I'm not because they're not on the phone. But offer solutions. Harold Ford offered a solution. He said, you know what? Why don't you offer the first $50,000 salary tax-free if you and I would say if you put some of that or percentage of that to a down payment of a house. That's a good solution, worthy of discussion. Not whether Trump was on pedophile island or not. I'm just telling you, Harold Ford is exactly right. And when I hear stuff like that from a Democrat, and by the way, let me just say this to the Democrats who are listening. This is the kind of thing you've got to get back to if you're going to get your party back. Because right now, you're missing a segment of people, and you might still get elected in some places, but your party won't be strong. It won't make a difference in our nation as long as it's run by the squad ideology. You need to be focusing on people like Harold Ford. But you know what? Unfortunately, the Democratic base won't support Harold Ford, in my opinion. They're too radical, they're too lunatic, they're too crazy. Harold Ford is right. I am right. And let's hope that other people begin to catch this understanding. All right, we'll be right back. We'll take a quick break. You're listening to the Martha Zoller Show. I am Tom Smiley. Don't go away.
And the schools and the agents, they have ruined college sports. It's insane.
It's Todd Starnes weekdays at noon on North Georgia's News Talk, AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Rise and shine with M&R Equipment and Rental. Your project success is our first job of the day. Whether it's landscaping, construction, or home renovation, we've got your back with our wide range of high-quality tools and equipment. We make starting your day easy. Simply pick your tool, choose your rental period, and get down to business. No job is too big or small. From saws to skid steers, we've got you covered and at prices that won't break your budget. Visit us at mnrrental.com. We're here to help you build a brighter tomorrow.
Winter days have me dreaming of sunny, warm shores and great times with friends around the table. That's why I'm looking forward to teaming up with Colette and Peach State Bank and Trust to head to Portugal with you this fall. It's Bill Main inviting you to join us as we enjoy multiple nights in charming Porto and the amazing Algarve coast. We'll walk the cobblestone streets and cruise the scenic Douro River, from the colorful capital of Lisbon to the stunning whitewashed villages of the Algarve. We'll savor wonderful foods, bask on beautiful beaches, and even tour a family-owned cork factory. If you missed the recent informational meeting we had with Colette, fear not, it's not too late to find out more and to get signed up. All you need to do is log on to WDUNtravels.com for all the information. You can even sign up there. Or call Colette at 800-581-8942. Get your questions answered and then get on board with us September 28th as we head for Portugal. Presented by Colette, Peach State Bank and Trust, and North Georgia's News Talk, WDUN.
Paid for by Christian Care Ministry.
Maybe this is you too. There's enormous frustration right now with healthcare costs. It is amazing. Healthcare costs for families in the last 20 years have almost tripled, and it just keeps getting worse. All this to say, this is why MediShare is so in demand right now. People are looking for alternatives, and MediShare is proven. You can save thousands of dollars a year and actually like it more. Over 1 million Americans are now part of healthcare sharing, and MediShare is the gold standard. It's trusted, it works, it's been helping people save money and have peace of mind now for 30 plus years. It's not some big impersonal thing either. It's a community of people like you helping each other. So yeah, if you're frustrated too, here's your chance to make a refreshing change. You'll notice the difference as soon as you call. They're easy to talk to. You can get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number. Call 855-51-BIBLE. That's 855-51-BIBLE. 855-51-BIBLE.
Always here, always local.
From the Access WDUN Hardy Chevrolet newsroom, detention and data centers might be on the chopping block in Hall County due to a 6-month moratorium imposed by the commission. Details at Access WDUN and coming up on North Georgia's News Talk.
Use the Access WDUN talk and text line, presented by M&R Rental at 770-535-2911, and be part of the conversation. From the Northeast Georgia Health System studio in downtown Gainesville, it's the Martha Zoller Show on AM 550 and FM 102.9 WDUN.
Nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you, they're crazy.
Probably the best line of the night from our President Donald Trump. All right, let's catch a phone call. I've got some more stuff to talk to you about. I won't get to it. I'll be back next Friday and then the following Friday. So I've got a couple more Fridays to be with you, and then we'll see what happens later on in the year. There better be some oatmeal cream cookie pies left when I get back. I doubt it. The newsroom can go through stuff faster than fast. So we'll see how that goes. But I look forward to being with you next Friday. Going to clean up rest of some stuff today as best I can get to it. But I got to go to the phones because Anna, all the way from Dahlonega, has called, and I want to hear what she has to say. Welcome, Anna.
Oh, good morning, Doctor. I just want to tell you, in the last segment, I was listening to Harold Ford, and I really like Harold Ford.
Mm-hmm.
And Fetterman, too. I mean, when you hear voices of reason, and you're older, and you have something to compare what's going on today, it breaks your heart that people can't see it.
Mm-hmm.
I've been around a long time, and I see what's happening to my country. And he's a heartbreak. I can't stand seeing Omar and Talib and Jayapal and AOC and the rest of those fools screaming and yelling at my president. When you go vote in the midterms, don't just wax all the names. Get in there and find out what this dude's about. Show up when he or she are making speeches. Listen to them. Ask them questions. If you've got the media sitting there feeding you garbage, you know they are.
Yeah.
So it's happened that you are responsible. You have this blessing called the vote. Don't let this do this. Don't let anybody do this to you.
Yeah, great call, Anna. Anna, I really appreciate your heart. It's obvious you love this country and you love what America is. And like you, my heart's broken. And as a grandparent, I don't worry about me. I'm closer to the other side than to this side now anyway. But my grandkids, I've got them everywhere from the preschool to the 8th grade, and what this country's going to be like for them, and what it would be like today if Donald Trump hadn't won. I know that sounds very kind of arrogant, but I'm telling you, if Kamala Harris and Tim Walz had won the election instead of Trump and Vance, I'm not sure there would be any future hope for us as a nation, at least not in regards to the values that I believe are important, the core values that I hold. I don't think that's possible. That would be possible if they had won. So I don't know. And now you see in one of these far left cities, I can't remember where it was, a registered sex offender is running for city council. A registered sex offender. And he's running because he says there needs to be some different voices. If you live in a community where a registered sex offender can run for your city council and get elected, you ought to move from that city. Why would you stay there? Pick up yourself and your family and go start another branch of the tree somewhere. I'm going to watch that. I can't remember his name. Don't care about what his name is. And I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't win. Because many of these leftist lunatics, they're just basically crazy. They don't love this country. And they have no core values like many of you hold that I hold. They have none of those core values. None of them. That's why we're in the shape we are. Here's a lady that I just like to hear her. This is some of that anecdotal evidence that I think, you know what? It may be better November than you think, because of the people like this out there, maybe there is hope for November.
The thing I like about him, he keeps it real just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled. My cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people, to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched. I rallied. I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off of him. And Grandma said it.
Amen. Grandma said it. If that's going on in the hearts and minds of people across this country, we might not be in as bad shape as I think, as many people think. Or we just don't hear it. All we hear are from our two senators in the state of Georgia, that crickets. That's all we hear from them, crickets. You know, the best thing I ever heard, the only thing I ever heard from John Osloff is I made insulin $35. Well, fine. Thank you. That's a great benefit, $35. Appreciate it. But there's other things you could do, Senator. All right, I'll be back next Friday. Martha will be back Monday. Y'all have a good time. Thanks for calling and texting. Good day.